Hello everyone, it's Uncle Destiny back with you. It's time to see what we've got for the reading for October. Now, for those of you in the United States, we are coming up on a very important time, which is going to be the elections at the end of October, in November. But many have also beginning to get their absentee ballots so that you can vote by mail. And like many, I'm going to encourage you to vote whichever way you want to use your voice, but vote. So let's go ahead and see what the ancestors have and the spirits have to say for the month of October, which is going to be building up to the decisions in November. Alrighty, and we have thrown the bones. We've got a much broader spread here. And we also have our Adinkra card as well for this too. So we're going to start first and foremost with the dice that came up, which sets a sort of a house and tone for this reading. And that is the 10th house. And the 10th house is about career, goals, fame, success, achievement, and the public image. Now, why do I start there? Because it also brings into the aspect of we only have two of our main bones here. And in this case, this one is going to be work. This one is social or family. And as you can see, we've got a very broad throw this time. And why is that important? Because I think we're also going to need what's going on with the Adinkra card over here. And it's known as fufu, seeds of a plant. And it warns against jealousy and covetousness. What the fufu plant wishes is that the gungi seed should darken. And that's basically saying that that seed wants to have the opportunity to grow and not be strangled out by the other seed. It wants to be able to have everything for itself. And so why does that bring us to what's going on with number 10 and what's going on with our work and what's going on is because so much of what we are looking at with this month, as well as the impulses and choices that we have in there, are about what we are doing and what we are coveting. What are we being jealous of? And how that motive can also cause us not to look at what we're doing to others, what we're not going to keep us from being connected with others, and also the outcome that's going on, especially for the notion that any outcome we are looking at is short term, when right now what we're looking at is the long term. What is the long-term career plans? What are the long-term goals we have? What is the long-term sense of fame we want? What is the long-term sense of success? What is the long-term sense of achievement? What is the long-term public image that we want to put out there? And especially as public images have been shifting very much in this year. And that's a lot of what's being going on here. So when we come to the work bone, and again, this is work in the sense that not just what you pay the bills, but what you are here to basically do in the world and bring into the world. And we have that with next to the tailbone, so that's providing the sense of balance. So whatever we're doing with our work, we must be balanced in it, in our focus of it. But it's also very close to the shell, and we have the exterior of the shell here, which is about the outer world. So as our work and everything that we are focused on is in the outer world, and we are trying to bring balance to it. And again, this is work, balance, and the outer world associated with our career, which can be connected to what we're doing for to pay the bills. And is that in such a way that it is ensuring that we're building the best possible long-term future for not just ourselves, but for everyone, which also includes our family. Are we working in such a way to goals that are, again, long-term and benefit others and the world outside of just ourselves and the moment? Are we letting a desire for fame influence our work, and yet our work can be its own fame in itself in what we leave behind with those who remember us? And I say that too as a gay man who my focus may not be on the idea of a biological family. My goal in my work may be about putting and ensuring that those members of my biological family are around, but also those that I help, who carry the memory of what was the thing that I did to make their lives better. And that also feeds into this idea of success. There are multiple ways to measure success, not a single one. And that's something that's also come up with everything we're dealing with now. And the idea is that there has been a more limited set of values that have been put forth as being the determiners for success. And it's time to change that. And it's time to broaden it, because success can be more than just material or the perception of material. And that includes our achievements. And our achievements are a form of success. Our achievements are a form of fame. And have we allowed jealousy and the urge to covet to be a part of that sense of fame, success, and achievement? Have we allowed them to become a part of our work and the public image that we are presented with? So it's being very conscious of that, and it's assessing that. It's assessing for what we're going to be doing, again, for the long term. Not just tomorrow, not just an hour from now, but 6 months from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Many of you could not have expected what 2020 held, but maybe many did, because they looked at what the long-term messages were, not just the short terms. And so that's where we also come into what's going on with the family and social bone. And again, we've got proximity to the shell, which means it's exterior, but what we have is one of the spinal bones, one of the bones about that are necessary for communicating the message from the lower portion of the body into the upper portion of the body. It's about the speed of information and the speed of thought. And as we deal in this day and age and the time, how have we allowed that jealousy and that sense of covetousness to affect how we are as a within our families and within our greater sense of society? And have we let the wrong people and the misguided people have way too much control, have way too much influence over us? Because they may think short term and encourage us to think short term while they're thinking long term. And that long term can be the idea of, how do I keep power? How do I keep my goals and my fame and my achievements and my public image as being the thing that everyone just focuses on? And how can it also be misused? How much have they become jealous and covet the attention that is given to them? And they struggle with the idea that someone else can get it. Someone else can have more substance as opposed to the outward shell and style. So when we pull back and look at that with those components of it, this brings in very much what the quartz piece is here. As I've said many times before, the quartz piece is about memory. It's a crystallized form of memory that we can look at from multiple angles and multiple directions. And that sense of how much of it is recording our career, our goals, our fame, our success, our achievements, and our public image. And keep in mind, it's also recording our jealousy and our covetousness. All of those things are getting recorded there. We cannot hide all of those things, and when we would like to, and be just a single image. We are all of those parts of the story, which includes the idea that in some cases, while we may be the hero of our own story, it is entirely possible to be the villain of somebody else's story. And so, how many stories do we want to be villains in? Should we even be the villain in that story? That's stuff we have to consider. And that's, again, comes very much in the long-term scenarios that we're presented with. So when we come down to the rest of the reading, we've got here, again, the spinal bone. And as I've often said, I often sometimes see it as the pelvic bone and the birthing bone as well, because it's also going to carry signals from the birthing canal up to the brain and the body. So with the fact that we, again, what are we birthing? Are we birthing something that cannot live beyond the moment? Are we birthing something that can be long-term, have long-term goals, that can have long-term fame, can long-term success, achievement, and public image? when we are making our decisions and living our lives and fulfilling our work purpose, as well as our family and social purpose, we need to be thinking about these things long term. Because the simple fact of the matter is, even if we were to pass away tomorrow, everybody we love and care for has to move forward. And they move forward with the impact that we have had. And is that impact, again, centered and based out of the idea of jealousy and covetousness. So our other bones around also, again, are about support and also about thought. And the fact that we need to definitely broaden our thought, and it's going, because we have such a large field, broaden that thought, broaden that sense of inspiration. Now, we have the copper piece, which is here, and in fact we got two cross support pins. Spirit is going to support this aspect of us looking at our career, at our goals, at our fame, at our success, our achievement, at our public image, as well as how we are being jealous about those things and how we are coveting those things. And it is going to have its impact on how Spirit puts its energy into the world, how it either helps us succeed or helps us fail. And that's something we really have to think about, because the more we fail at being connected to others, the more we fail at failing to look at the long term, the longer Spirit will look further into the future and see, yep, we can't let this happen. So we've got to take steps. And their steps, again, are of a long-term view compared to the shortness of our mortal lives. Now, we've got a couple that came off the run. We've got this one off the edge, and it's also relative to where we have the broken rib bone, our spike, our knife, our shiv. And that sense of, again, what are we balancing it? And are we choosing to have balance, or are we choosing not to have balance? Are we choosing support instead? And we have that choice: balance through pain or balance through support. That's a question that's being asked of you. That's a question that's being put forth as you make the decision about where we're moving forward. But most of all, we cannot move forward, continue in a form of isolation and the me only. This includes the family and the social. This includes our sense of work and balance, as it relies to everything that is outside of ourselves. And are we focusing on what's outside of ourselves, not from a place of jealousy and covetousness? Are we focusing on those things, as I say again, from the place of our careers, our goals, our success, our achievement, and our public image? Because again, if there aren't people around to see them, to enjoy them, to reap the benefit of what we've done, did we ever exist? And we want our voices to be spoken as a prayer, not as a curse. So, choose wisely, people. Choose wisely. And Ashe.